It's a great time to be a sneakerhead because Nike's retroing and re-retroing all the classics. You gotta know that back in the day, there was no such thing as retro. So Nike would come out with a cool pair of shoes like these Air Force 180s or these Air Force Maxes, and if you didn't get lucky enough to get the OG release, you just never got them. But nowadays, Nike's re-releasing everything cool. All of the shoes in front of me are retros, and they're Charles Barkley's signature shoes from 92 and 93. Over here we have the Olympic colorway. Over here is the black Sport Royal and Varsity red color that Charles wore with the 76ers, and then the very next year in 93, he was wearing the Air Force Maxes, and so was the Fab Five at Michigan. Today I want to break down these retro releases. Come on over here and have a look at the first pair. It's a 2007 release, and I picked this pair up of shoes at a Nike clearance store. Go ahead and scan down and have a look at the box. I paid $59.99 for this pair of shoes. So I used to live in San Diego, and there were two Nike outlets in San Diego, and one of them was in Viejas. And it was a very slow store that didn't have a lot of business, so Nike converted it into a clearance store, and at the time, the highest price point for the clearance store was $59.99. So they took all their really cool shoes and marked them at $59.99. I bought 60 pairs of these shoes, and I kept one for the ShoeZeum. This shoe's amazing, and it reminds me of the dream team at Barcelona. Let's have a look at the next pair, which was released just last summer when the London Olympics were going on in 2012. And Nike went crazy retroing all the Olympic shoes. So they retroed these shoes, which Charles wore in the 92 Olympics. They did the Air More Tempos that Scottie Pippen wore in the 96 Olympics. Then they released a pair of Shocks that Vince Carter wore in the 2000 Olympics. There was a pair of USA Basketball Dunk Highs, two pairs of USA Basketball Air Force Ones. The Air Jordan 6 and 7, along with the Golden Moments pack, were released. And then a few different pairs of Jordan 1s as part of the Road to the Gold pack. And then a couple pairs of Jordan 1 high straps. So they went crazy with the Olympic retros. I had to get a pair of these and add them to the collection. They retailed for $129.99, which was only $5 more than the pair that came out in '07. Let's have a look at the next pair. Black Sport Royal and Varsity Red. This pair originally came out back in 92, and it was retroed in '04, and I was so stoked to get them in '04. I think this shoe is amazing. I love the suede upper, love the colorway. Charles was playing for the 76ers, who are red and blue, so of course this shoe has red and blue on here. And this shoe soared in value as a retro and a classic, and it got up to worth about $300, and then boom, Nike just released it again. So let's work our way over to the next pair, a 2013 re-release of the same shoe. $130 is what this pair is going for, and it's actually available in stores right now. I think it's an amazing pair of shoes, and I had to match up the 2013 pair with the 2004 pair. Let's work our way to the next pair from 1993 originally, the Air Force Max. This has 270 degrees of air, just like the Air Max 93, made famous by Charles Barkley and, of course, the Fab Five at Michigan. I bought this pair for $59.99 at the same clearance store. Same thing. They had a bin of these shoes. I bought a whole bunch of them. I actually had 5 of them on display in the ShoeZeum to represent the Fab Five at Michigan, and I hung on to one pair right here. Beautiful shoe, and look at all these Barkleys that we've been talking about. They have Velcro straps on them that are sort of reminiscent of cross trainers that were made famous originally by John McEnroe. But in the early 90s, a lot of Charles Barkley's shoes had these Velcro straps. Let's look at the last pair, a retro from 2013. It's called the Air Force Max 2013, and I love the red colorway. There was no Red October, so we'll have to deal with this pair of shoes and then a bunch of other cool red classics from 2013. So the 2013 models of the Air Force Max have no stitching on them. You'll notice up here that it's sort of a seamless one-piece upper, whereas the original pair had stitching on there. The original pair is way, way cooler, and that's why this shoe ended up at the outlets. I bought this pair at Camarillo Nike factory store just last week, and they have a full bin of them, so if you're into this shoe, you can buy it by calling them and placing a phone order. But I believe that the only reason why this shoe ended up at the factory store is because they changed it up from the OG one and they removed the stitching. Lately, Nike has been on a real craze for these like hyperfuse, no-sew, VacTech-like uppers where they remove all of the stitching, and sometimes it works and other times it's just not as cool as the original model. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed checking out these Barkley shoes from 92 and 93 and seeing all of the recent re-releases, so go out and get yours because you can.